Is it true that ginger cats are more crazy?
Well, this one is mental, so
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
I'm also want to know what's the source of this information that you've come out with here, Rab.
Well,
It's just a thing.
It's a thing, isn't
Is it a thing?
between cats? Yeah. Because my cat's white, but with ginger bits, and we think.
Yeah, ginger cats are usually either A, more stupid, or B, just crazier.
And what do they say about white cats? They say all white cats are like territorial and quite vicious. Black cats are quite loving. I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know what tabbies are.
I'll have to look at that. But all I know is that orange cats are typically stupid.
They're dicks, are they? Is that what you're telling me?
No, they're
they're stupid. Because because we live in the townhouse, my cat loves the banisters. Because she'll just, you'll hear her claws at like 2 a.m. where she's jumping from banister to banister like she's in the raid or something.
Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, exactly. Ninja Warrior cat. Yeah. Yeah. Fun fact about Powder. We named her after, Jinx from League of Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah, we named her after because she's called Powder in the anime.
Wow, I thought it was because you loved powder.
Ooh, yes, yeah. Lowest form of weight, that is. Don't touch a grass. Well, Alex said I loved grass on a. Yeah, Alex said I loved grass on a stream.
Oh yeah.
Hilarious.
Hopefully that wasn't also like one of the Dutch special championships.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was one of my first. I think it was like was it Stuttgart? I can't remember.
Yeah, it probably was Stuttgart.
Maybe or Bochum or something like that. Yeah.
Well, it actually has been a couple of weeks since we got together. So how have we actually been, boys? Because it did take a minute for our last pod to actually come out, did it not, Mr.
Yeah,
Yards?
I upset everyone.
What do we call you nowadays?
I upset everyone because I did the editing a bit later than usual. I say a bit later. It was a good 4 or 5 days.
It annoyed me because we recorded earlier, and then it took 11 days for it to be uploaded.
Yeah, I was just a bit busy, and then I thought, but without asking you guys and without talking to you, I thought, I'll just leave it till Friday because we post on a Friday. But no, you two were quite angry actually.
Yeah, well, it's quite time sensitive. But when we only do them every 2 weeks, it's quite time sensitive. I feel like it's already teetering on the edge of being relevant.
Yeah, that's my
but I feel like the last few episodes have been like technically recorded on a weekly basis. I think like the last 2 or 3.
They have been, and I think
it makes our takes outdated because it's already been.
Yeah. And we're planning to do that for the a little bit more of the foreseeable. No. As in recording one a week.
Are we?
Well, we try.
We'll try.
When there's a busy period and there's a lot of things to cover, I feel like it's worth it. As long as we're not talking about old news, like if there's suddenly like a DQ that happened 4 weeks ago and it's suddenly come out. Out 8 weeks later.
No, that would never happen.
Bear in mind.
And there's loads of ideas to improve the pod, the user experience. Just
name one thing.
I'm thinking about making my own private dashboards for reporting. Nobody's ever done that.
That's not our criticism, though, is it? That's not
nobody's ever done that. And I thought about a jingle. Getting a jingle.
You did mention a jingle. I don't know if I want a jingle.
I'm worried at how long it takes you to edit as is. But how much more difficult a jingle would be.
You know, adding Rabbi will go to Fiverr, pay the cheapest person to create a random jingle, and it will be the same jingle that's being used for about 4 million YouTube accounts.
Yeah.
Adding voice or clips as well, just like little, like on TikTok.
Again, it took you 11 days to just
people's attention spans just aren't there.
So this really.
So
I'd love, have Temple Trek going while you're doing the stats. That would be
good. Get some music in the background. Some,
Yeah.
And then every now and again, just have like a clip button. And then like all the famous TikTok sounds like bruh and stuff like that. Whenever you make a point.
See, I don't do enough TikTok to know the famous sounds. I'll learn them here on the pod.
Are you getting one of those? What's those little Elgato like Steam Deck things that you can push the button when?
I think they're called a stream. Yeah, I think they're called a Stream Deck. I don't think I had one. I don't know if I had one of them.
I definitely have one and used it for like a month and then stopped. I was using it for the tabletop game at one point. Yeah, it's in a shelf down there, I think. I used it for the tabletop for a couple of
in VR
months. It was quite good. Not in VR, no. No, I mean like the actual physical tabletop. But then I like keyed buttons in for the cards to flash up on the screen, so I didn't have to edit them in.
Yeah. I can't wait because the news this week was the Steam hardware stuff, and they're bringing out a new VR headset that you can take anywhere and with just a dongle and plug it into any computer. I just can't wait to play tabletop sim again because it's just
whilst you're traveling on a train and just
in a little internet cafe
in Starbucks.
You're doing this, they think you're doing something else, and you're just shuffling your deck.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to see an unreleased video of Rab playing VR, we were
because it was back when.
Right, that's the Patreon one day. Rab, that's the first clip you're going to put in. Splice that in now.
I'll splice it in now. And
that's now.
The funny bit about that VR, the context around it was that I was during lockdown, and I just kind of, I couldn't find any other way to entertain myself other than just get a VR headset at the time. Just made sense, and tabletop sim was one of the first things I played, and in that clip, it's so funny because you're recording me, and I don't know I'm being recorded, and you and Jack, I think, are just pissing yourself. And I have like this really long hair, I think, from memory from lockdown, and
yes, you do
because of the because of the camera angle's looking up, so all you can see is me going like that with this massive thing on my face. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I'll clip that in definitely. I can't wait for that new VR headset looks great. Definitely getting that. Definitely investing.
On the go. Wow.
Yeah.
And do we want to talk fantasy? I mean, you guys are suddenly trailing behind me.
Well,
I haven't seen
all I know.
The only
thing I had a rubbish week, but the only thing that's going for me is like all the top picks are injured, and I've banked a lot of transfers. Like I know Gabrielle and Semenyo and Gehi, they're all injured.
Yeah, Gabrielle's injured, right?
So I feel like I'm at least ahead in terms of like I can beat people who have been greedy on transfers. So I think I'm in line for some good weeks, but I need to think about it this week.
We were all really close to one point, right? We all were like 1-2 points behind each other. I don't know where we all are right now.
Golden Go Luna turn, but
you're ahead of me, Dow, by
I know. I'm doing great.
6 points.
And I'm sinking.
And then Joe's below me by 4. So
you had a massive week, Dow. Who did you have?
Bench boosted.
Yeah, it's it
was a pretty average. It was a pretty bad boost, to be honest. But is that your first chip?
I mean, I've used it. But in comparison to a lot of people who, like you said, were banking on these big hitters like Semenyo and other players, I think it did okay. Like I had Mamardash really on the bench.
That's a good pick. That's an awesome result. Yeah. I still have Phil Foden.
Seems to get some points.
Yeah. I still have Phil Foden.
Your team's quite different now, to be fair. I mean, I have Xhaka as well. You got Declan Rice.
Oh yeah. See, look,
that's the casual pick. Are you some sort of filthy casual now?
The very annoying thing was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was like to my mate from work. I was like, I wanna double. I wanna put Rice in. I wanna put Rice in. And he's like, no, he's crap. And I'm like, but he's taking corners. It will happen. Things are going in. He's the best
corner taker in the league.
Right, yeah. Rice is a good pick.
And
he's like the highest
double digits.
Yeah.
He double digits in a row.
It's only Semenyo above him in points in midfield.
And Semenyo's been crap recently.
Rice is guaranteed to start.
He hasn't missed a game though. He's injured
now. Yeah, he's injured now.
Rice is a player like Caicedo, but Caicedo doesn't have the set pieces. They are always bang on to start, 100%. They're not leaving that first team.
Yeah.
No, Rice is a good pick. especially with all the
only
sheets as well.
Well, yeah. Right, Rice is good, but he's definitely like the casual pick. Like everyone at the beginning of the game would have had Rice, right?
Yeah.
All the people, all the people who don't know the game. Everyone's like first,
right. You mean
like everyone's first week team or whatever,
Yeah, no one's banking on climbing up the ladder, as it were. Should we make a start, boys?
Go on then.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the SpilltheTeaCG podcast with myself, Alex Dow. I'm joined by Joe Bernard and Benjamin Yard. Obviously, we've already had, I don't know, probably like 8 to 10 minutes there of actual ramble as per. But, we've got to crack on. We don't want to stick around for too long because we've all got busy things to do in our lives. Apart from Ben, because he needs to go and edit this straight afterwards. But we've just had the Las Vegas regionals. Literally yesterday it concluded, or even for us this morning, in fact. But it was a treat. I think that's probably the best way I can actually describe the actual tournament itself. I don't know. You both had a chance to watch it. I know, Joe, you stayed up to the very, very early hours. But it'd be good to just hear a little bit of what you thought of the Las Vegas regionals.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't watch it and you just see the asymmetrical cut, the amount of talented players who made it to the top, we've said it a few times, but it's a great sign for the game that it really is just like great players, all masters of individual decks who are the ones coming out on top. And it's week to week at this point with some of these names, like Aban making another top cut, 4 events attended, 4 top cuts, and 3 of those 4 are finals. So that's completely insane. Henry's there, towards there, Liam's there, Ryuki's there, Makani, Fernando Cifuentes, world champion as well. So just Caleb, incredible players getting onto these records. That's to be expected when it's a tournament of this size. Almost 3,000 masters is crazy, and it just meant that you had to have ridiculous records to get that far in the tournament. But also a very diverse tournament in terms of the field and whatnot. We'll get into the metagame, but a lot of good highlight games, I think, on the stream to look back on. Like the final is weird because it's all about Cornerstone, but there was lots of other weird cat and mousey games, like a lot of Zorro into Absol. I think there was a lot of Absol box just on the stream naturally, just by who was playing it in the first place, which meant they were the name to watch, sort of thing. A good amount of Gardevoir on the stream as well, I would say.
Yeah.
And a good amount of Gongo as well. I think the one thing that wasn't really on stream too much was Drag at Dusk, to be honest. I think Cal was on there, but not many others. But yeah, I think it was cool to see lots of different games and so many great players on the chance to be on stream. So yeah, it was a really, really good tournament. And the final was a weird one to watch back. I probably would recommend watching it back. Just it's very interesting seeing Liam wiggle out of this tiny percent, really. You give him maybe 10% in that matchup, I think, because he just has one attacker, and it takes 5 energy to get there to deal any damage to Cornerstone. Whereas Torn is he laid back in his chair, shrugging, attaching an energy to an Ogre upon a turn, and announcing an attack every turn. It's so simple Pokemon from him. But then he's kind of sits up in his chair when they go to game 3. So he's like, damn, this is losable somehow. But no, it was awesome to see Tord, the game's most decorated player, get another win. And also having an insane season, by the way. Even for him, I think this is a great start to the season.
Definitely so. Ben, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. I mean, going into the tournament, obviously it was the first Las Vegas regionals, and in such a iconic location, there was definitely good vibes going into the tournament. Everybody was pretty excited to go not only somewhere new, but Las Vegas as well. So there was a lot of FOMO going on, especially with the guys over in Europe, for the players that got to experience that. And yeah, I mean, the stream was great as well. There was a lot more features on the stream than what the usual production is. Analyst Chip Ritchie got his own stage, I guess, in between games, got to analyze the game play by play and pick out some of the more prominent moments in each match, which was really nice to see. But yeah, such a stacked top cut. I think that was the biggest moment of the tournament for me, and definitely one of the more significant moments was just seeing that top 16. And I know some players even just edged out just slightly. People like Robin Schultz, former world champion, that we had on the stream. Some other notable players, Kato, Aiden Koos. All of these players were so close, but then of course that top 16, there were some matches each round that were just absolutely mouth-watering for people watching and players from across the world. I mean, you had Ryuki versus Fernando Cifuentes in the top 16, and then of course as you get into the top 8, you had what was the most notable one in top 8? I can't remember, but then you had Ryuki and Tord in top 4. The one that was on stream. Yes, yeah. Then you had Ryuki and Tord in top 4, and then of course that amazing finals. And that finals was really interesting because of course everybody went into it thinking Tord's just going to roll over here with the Cornerstone Ogerpon, but like you said, Joe, it was a little bit more interesting than people maybe have thought initially. Liam is a player that would find a way, right? I mean, he's a very decorated player. He's a player with a ton of experience, especially with Zoroark as well. Yeah, a fantastic tournament. Really good to see.
Yeah, echo all of that. I mean, the only thing I'll add is just it's always actually quite interesting watching back streams because we've mentioned like the types of stream games that we got to see for the Las Vegas regionals, and you kind of compare it to what we've been able to show sometimes in Europe, and you get this mixture of like sometimes you want to show like a good variety of decks, or sometimes you want to show like high profile players and what they're piloting and playing. It's always kind of interesting to see that kind of level of dynamic. But yeah, I echo all of the points. Just like I said, stretching beyond the top 16 and in terms of the actual standings itself, it's actually really interesting to see all of those players and names. But again, I think the most interesting thing is that what Joe mentioned, that these players that are playing their kind of decks that are there almost not attached to, but they're, you know, that's what we associate them with nowadays. Like the Henry Chow, the Abans, they're playing the Gardevoir, right? Ryuki and Tord are both piloting the Absol box again from when they did in Milwaukee. Makani is playing Gardevoir once again, you know, all these different decks. So it's all very, very interesting. I know we've already kind of mentioned the finals a couple of times, but let's have a quick look at what the meta game was to begin with, I suppose. And kind of gives us a bit of an idea, inkling to how this tournament was kind of shaped by previous ones as well. Golden Go was leading the way again, boys.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean, it just had a good result in Europe, obviously, with Daniel Magda winning. And to me, it feels like the most powerful deck in the game at the moment. I think it has just enough space to be really awkward for the Dragapults, the Guardies, and then it naturally has the stopping power to get through a bunch of other matchups. It just like generally is a beneficiary of Absol, Box, and Zoroark. But I think the one undertone that definitely Tord said throughout his interviews is that this felt like the week that the Dengos got greedy, if that makes sense. I know in Australia, Jordan Palmer was able to get away with it in their top 8 run of a very clean Golden Go that went techless. And I remember saying it just after those tournament results, being like, when are we getting to that curve of the Dengos feel like this is the most or the least useful card in their deck because the Absol Kangs have already moved on to Zerosic and Eri anyway. So Tord felt it was the full circle moment, and he was very right about that. If you look at some of his matchups that we'll look at later, you'll see that he faced quite a few techless Dengo. So again, like heading into LAIC and when we get to our tier list or whatever, I think that's once again back in flux, and it's like, oh, fine, I guess we have to play 59 cards. But that was one of the only notes to have for Dengo. I feel like it is probably the most well-rounded deck in that your worst matchups are like Ceruledge and Flareon, and they're not that popular ultimately.
Well, just to kind of clarify for anyone who's listening rather than watching as well, it's very similar to what we've seen in recent tournaments. Golden Go leading the way, Dragapult, Gardevoir, Charizard, Pidgeot, Ceruledge, and then Gardevoir Jellicent was our kind of 6th deck on the meta graphic, if I recall correctly. Mega Absol box, not quite enough to reach into the kind of top 6 that they typically have as well. But it was there, you know, at the 4% again. Only a certain number of players actually bringing it to the tournament. But it was a massive tournament, right, Ben? It was 2,900 plus players in the Masters division. I mean, heading into the tournament like that, similar to what we've seen with recent ones, you kind of just have to play the deck that you think's going to do the best into a random field, theoretically, right, at this point. It's interesting, right? Because we again, we'll touch on the standings in a moment, and you know, because we had 2 different, I guess, slightly different builds of Mega Absol box in the top 4s, right? You had Tord's very kind of throwback to his Milwaukee list, and he's kind of mentioned it. You know, we went a bit more heavier onto the cornerstone and the fighting energy, for example. But Ryuki played what he has been playing in Brisbane with the 0-6 machinations, for example, and we did see that come into effect in the stream game as well.
Yep.
So yeah, you know, there's different ways to handle the different metas. It just, as kind of Joe mentioned, because we go kind of through this cycle of certain decks or certain metas, or we kind of almost call it semi rock paper scissors, but there's kind of multiple Venn diagram of rock paper scissors at the moment, which is a bit weird. Yeah. It doesn't feel great right now heading into the next tournament, but we'll discuss that in a bit more detail when we go into the tier list anyway.
Yeah.
Any other call outs from just the general day one meta? If not, we can move on if you like.
I think it's an uptick in Gardevoir Jellicent, right? I think that's definitely got a higher percentage than it had before. A lot more of an equal playing fields with the linear Gardevoir and Gardevoir Jellicent. I can never put my finger on why that is, other than people just. But it's better into Gold. Yeah, it's better into Goldengo. But wouldn't you have played it for the last event, seeing that Goldengo was still just as popular? It's a bit of a weird one for me.
Well, this is.
It's outperformed. Like Jelly has been outperforming Straight Guardy for a lot of these tournaments in terms of the top 8ing, right? Recently,
yeah.
So you can see why there's a small uptick. It's also favored in Mirror, right? So like your Mirror favored and better into Dengo. So immediately you're better into the top 3. I feel like you can see obviously why it's less popular. It's that people don't like the inconsistencies of that build, and admittedly it has to play a slower game plan and is cloggier because you're committing 3 spaces to a fish.
I think that's my problem. I think that's my problem reflecting on it, because in the past couple of events, if you saw Goldengo and Gardevoir be, you know, oh so popular as you have been, why is it only taken this long for people to pick up the Gardevoir Jellicent?
I think there's a couple of things. If we want to just quickly touch on that, I mean, we kind of spoke about this joining this recording, and the fact that, you know, going from Lille to Gdansk was a 1-week turnaround, right? Players not really changing or adapting too much in terms of the meta, and then obviously in Gdansk, with that being, we would like to assume, our hypothesis is that there probably isn't going to be too much change between what players have played in Lille going into Gdansk, right? But then Golden Go just kind of outperforms, or it's kind of what people had expected. And from then onwards, that's when people react. That's when people then make that decision to play maybe a bit more the Jellicent builds. I think we even saw in Gdansk, as Joe highlighted already, it was players like Kim, Babega, and I think there was another player who was that Gardevoir Jellicent builds, who were like top 16 or so on. So they are there. It just happens to be also a tournament which things like Zoroark was in the same sort of top 16. So it's
I think the Jelly build has consistently had a stronger conversion throughout all of the weeks of Mega Evo, though. I might need fact checking on that, but I'm pretty certain that's been the case.
I do. It's still just the last point. I do think the explanation can be as simple as, and I know this sounds a bit silly, but it's a less attractive proposition to play Guardy Jellicent than it is Linear Guardy, purely because you're item locking and not having fun one-shotting stuff with Gifloon and Screamtail and stuff like that. I genuinely do think that does have an influence on deck.
You have some really dicey games with Jelly Guardy, and it's the classic, like, if you lose a game 1 with a Jelly build, you're probably not winning the set, whereas a Turbo Guardy can at least try and get the tie out of it. But you naturally try and draw the game out in a really long best of 1 a lot of the time. So it's scary to play with a clock like that.
It's less interactive, and plus it's just one of those decks like you are prohibiting your opponent from doing something, whether it's item lock or whatever, where you're just kind of sitting there praying, I really hope they don't have it. I really hope they don't have it. And when they do, it's just utterly demoralizing. And I can definitely see why players don't necessarily feel like they're drawn to that approach.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Until we speak to a Guardy player and find out. That's always going to be forever unknown to you, Ben, I think. We have kind of mentioned conversion already. We can kind of now look at day 2 maybe, and then you can feel free to flip between the kind of conversion percentages as well if it's a little bit easier. Do you want to quickly just highlight what the day 2 kind of meta was, Ben, since you have it up?
Yeah, sure. So top of the board we have Golden Gun Lunatone with 93 decks in day 2. Then we have Dragon Ball Dust Noir with 66, Gardevoir 47, Gardevoir Gelatin 45, Charizard Pidgeot 38, and then we have Mega Absol Box with 34. So that was the top 6. And then just outside that was Grimmsnarl Frostlass with 29 and Serralege with 26. And I'll just say Terrabox with 20. Actually, no. Yeah, I'll say Raging Bolt then as well, 16. Because Raging Bolt was a bit of a...
might as well keep going.
Nah, Raging Bolt was a bit of a talk of the town on stream, wasn't it? It had... it shown that it was still... a little bit relevant.
Hiroki played it on stream.
Do not watch back that interview. But enjoy the game.
The game was fun to watch. But yeah, in terms of conversion, I think I've just finally flicked it up as well. There were a couple of big sort of winners in the conversion percentage. Mega Absol Box, that's sort of 28%. Golden Go continued its kind of very good conversion rate. I think relative, again, we know these percentages change at every tournament, but at just under 24%. And Gardevoir Jellicent, 26%. So kind of really leaning into what we mentioned about how it's kind of the more better play into a field like this at the moment.
It's better into the big 3 at least. It's like I would say it's worse into like the Absol and the Grim. Maybe not Grim because you play Devo as well, but like it's definitely like narrowing in on the top 3. I would say the Jelly build.
Yeah.
But I guess what the other sort of decks, because we're gonna have to highlight it at the moment as well. Poor conversion rates for Cerulege, which we don't typically really ever see. It's kind of expected now. But players are still playing. I mean, 14% of them still made it through. So day 2.
I think one of the surprises is Enzoro for me.
Well, I was just about to mention the sub 10% or sub 8%, I should say, of Enzoro being a day 2.
And not a popular pick either, right? It was like just above 3% of day 1 field. So
115 players, yeah. I mean, it's not.
I mean, it's a good amount of it is a good amount of players. You're right, but
they were completely decimated. Like only 9.
I feel like Enzoric is a deck that can look terrible in the wrong hands. I do think agree with that. You have to play so carefully with Zoro. That's why it's had a really good amount of top cuts for its play rates. But it's exactly the big names every time because you have to play pretty crazily well with the deck to not just feel very silly with it.
There is still an element of matchup roulette with it as well. There is. It does have its bad matchups. It's not one of those decks where you think about the old linear Gardevoir where it had this high skill cap, but at least it had kind of 50-50 matchups across the board. That's not the case with Enzoroark. You have to play well and sometimes dodge the bad matchups, which is sometimes quite difficult. I'm definitely not surprised that it's been completely decimated with only just under 8% conversion. I'm not surprised.
What I was gonna say is that I feel like when you've had those kind of abilities where you're pitching a card away into this card, drawing 2, usually that's been very forgiving. If you've made a micro decision and that's a mistake, quote unquote. Well, not a mistake, a misplay, a less high percentage play than you could. It's far more forgiving when it was refinement in Gardevoirs because you had so many very good pieces that you can kind of draw into. Or same with and
the macro is just so much easier. The macro is so much easier, even for old Zoro EX decks.
GX that's what I mentioned.
The macro is so much more clear than this deck.
Yeah, I think my problem with Enzoroark is that you have okay matchups into the big stage 2s. You have okay matchup. You obviously have a good matchup into Gardevoir, and then the rest of the stage 2s are okay. Yeah, they're positive, but then the rest of the field is just really iffy for me. Like I can't.
The sloggers certainly get you.
The big sloggers definitely get you, and even then, Gardevoir can still beat you. It's not like it's an unlosable matchup. It's still very much losable, especially Gardy Jellicent.
Is Jelly worse? I feel like Jelly's better. I feel like I'm more scared of balloons and buffed Screamtails.
I think so. If you're being slowed down by Jellicent, I think you can kind of still kind of power through.
I think if they get up and running pretty early, Jellicent, I think it's pretty bad. But
I'd love to see a Jellicent in the active. I would be shaking your hand for it.
That's the game plan into a lot of decks, right? Where you just kind of just close out a game because you have an item lock and tool lock in the active spot, and your opponent can't do anything. So they're both a good matchup. 80 to 160, whatever.
Yeah, they're definitely both solid. But I would definitely prefer to see the Jelly build if I'm Zorro.
I was surprised. The one thing I was impressed by was considering how highly it was played, just under 400 decks played. Goldeggo Lunatone with a conversion of 23.
The power level is just so high at the moment.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Right,
I was impressed with that.
Anything else from this day 2 meta? Otherwise, I've got a quick question, and I thought I might as well pose it now since we're looking at day 2 anyway.
Shoot a question our way. Go on.
520. Congrats to all 521 players that made it to phase 2. But it is another contentious point, right? It's 9 players technically that could fall out of the top 5-1-2. It's another scenario that we've seen often where people are bubbling out or having to bubble in, for example. It's a tough take. If you had the power to, I don't know, change the scenario and make it better for us as competitive players, whether it's 5-1-2 or 2-5-6, whichever, what would you do and why?
I would either give like a token amount of packs to everyone in day 2, like 3 packs or something.
Okay.
Like for non-placing players, literally like a token amount, or like, you know, it's like at that point it's similar to like playing the cup in day 2 where you get like a win, a pack for a win sort of thing, you know. Or I would do like a small threshold, more points just for playing, you know.
Yeah,
that could have been quite interesting. So I mean, because often people say something like, give them the same number of points as the lowest and like threshold up.
I don't agree with that, but maybe like a token amount more, I think would be okay. Like a +5 or something.
Or maybe it is something like +5. Wow.
All I was literally in. I know 5 is like a silly number, but it can be a break.
It's like
point, right?
half a top 4 challenge.
Well, fine, but like it's different, you know.
Oh, it is something.
But literally, all I wanted was to be done with my day after doing badly.
Sure,
you know.
But you could.
So
right? So technically, you can drop.
I know, but that's such a bad feel. Like to have made phase 2 and then to have the bad feeling.
It's like it'd be like it's like dropping worlds, isn't it? It's like it's a bit. Oh well, I don't really want to.
I mean, dropping worlds is fine. I don't have any issue with that. It's just like to know that people who have had a free Sunday to do whatever they want versus the person who's been stuck there for the hours. Like, obviously, we're enjoying playing the game, so that's a whole argument in itself. And like a pack for a win doesn't make sense because you're obviously losing if you're in that situation. But like for each round you play, get a pack. You know,
but that's what I was actually about to highlight. Like, could Pokemon to encourage
like side event vibes.
More Pokemon to be played by all of our players, especially those in phase 2. For congratulations for making it. By the way, if you play every round, you get a pack, or like to just keep incentivizing people to keep playing, to even still push into 2-5-6 if that's even possible. I mean, if I look at 2-5-6 now, the point threshold at that stage was what? The record was 8-4-2. So 8 wins, 24, 2 ties, 26 points. Okay, it's actually quite far. but like, there's got to be ways to try and improve this, right? Because I mean, some people
everyone says the day 2 promo thing as well. But I guess if you want people to stay there, you can only give them the promo if they've stayed or whatever.
That makes me feel bad, especially if they have.
And you're hanging it over them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 5-round day 2, like day 2, phase 2.
Yeah, because people have to leave to their flights sometimes as well. Yeah. Maybe that's not.
I
think the token pack thing makes sense. The only thing is, like, they have to allocate how many packs to take to these places, and it's literally crates of boosters they're bringing to these tournaments. If ever you see like the backstage stuff, because it's all the judges, it's all the players, it's all this other stuff, right? So to have an amount that they can, it has to be a fixed number that they can tell someone to bring for the day, because there's nothing worse than sticking around knowing you're getting these packs and like, sorry, miscounted this time. You're not getting these packs. We'll send them to you.
What if it's like every tournament they have like, I don't know, like 360 boosters, and that's always the limit, and then that's distributed based on
how many.
Not 360. 360 is obviously very low.
360 is way too low. Yeah.
3,000. I don't know.
Well, this is the whole problem, right? 3,000 boosters logistically is what, 4 cases? So,
yeah, it doesn't cost any money to print. Reality.
It does to ship. that's the thing.
It does to ship and grab a trolley to bring it over.
Precious trolley. Well, that's okay. Really what the crux of it is, right? They have to know the amount to bring if that's going to be the incentive. But I think that could be calculated.
I feel like the most admin friendly and realistic way of incentivizing,
or you just do prize wall tokens. You just give them tokens, right?
Yeah, it's either I think the best way to do it is probably additional CP, but
I don't know how much I like it though.
How much would you give? You know, 5
sometimes it's
low,
very pointless.
10 points is too high.
CP, yeah, the CP can literally be pointless, or just like still, it then makes the race weird.
How many?
Right?
That being said, there are Ace Trainer rewards that people can still be playing for, and like an extra 30 or 20 or 10 towards that.
Sometimes make a lot of difference.
That will go a good distance. All right, we should probably move on because I didn't want to take too long talking about it because I'm sure
it's a good. I mean, to be honest, that's one of the only things that I think leaves a bad taste. I mean, just pointing on Vegas, they tried the online pairings this week, and
yes,
there were teething issues with that as well. I think there was big delays from the people out there in Vegas. It sounded like it was more of a user error situation. But there's always going to be teething issues, right? Like, especially when it's... I don't know why they risked it in the biggest regionals. That's the thing that, like, it makes the most sense because it's the most amount of people, but then it also is like, if you're going to trial it, at least do it somewhere.
I think
they did trial it before, right? In Milwaukee day 2, I think.
Oh, was it day 2 they tried it? Okay, I didn't know they tried it in a day 2.
I think there were some like Star Wars-esque celebrations when they announced paper pairing.
Apparently that was which is very sad. But like, I understand. I think it was because of the amount of round delay. But just because, you know, the only thing that is like a genuine concern is like people. There's so many people at events where you're like, oh, I've got no service or signal here. Can you search my pairings or whatever? So there must be a huge amount of people who just literally can't report it because they don't have connection when they're in a different country or whatever else. So
yeah, good point.
That'll probably be more of a European problem than a US problem because I imagine everyone has service there. But because when we go from country to country, our service is like scuffed most of the time.
It is really bad.
My roaming is generally pretty good.
Look at me! I've got a good contract.
I have to ask everybody for my pairing. It's quite annoying.
I feel like
especially EYC last year was terrible.
It's like, do you have your deck? Do you have, you know, a poison marker? Do you have cell service or mobile?
And you have to join that. You have to join that classic swarm of locusts around a judge with an iPad who's like trying to look at 50 different pairings at once.
Poor Reese Williams.
Yeah, and Reese doesn't do that. You think Reese does that? He doesn't do anything like that.
He's been Buttermere Lackey at recent times.
He's off having a coffee.
He usually is having a coffee because he's been on a bender the night before.
Right, this is
top 16 was our asymmetrical top cut. We've had a lot of top 16s in the last few tournaments, I believe now. This time not a 17th player who actually had the same record. It was
real
just 16 this time, which is really cool to see. And we've already highlighted, right, just how stacked the number of players that we had, all of the players that we had in this. All of the decks were like pretty cool to see as well. I mean, you even pointed out earlier, Joe, that there was like one solo Joltic box that was still kind of hanging in there as well. But yeah, it was incredible, just some of the names that we've already highlighted, and we're going to keep saying them again. You know, it's starting with like Tord, who was undefeated and was first seed. I think he had 38 points post his
record's nuts. It's so good.
And yeah, I mean, we might as well highlight now. He ended on 50 points.
Yeah, 50. Before the top cut. I see.
Yeah, before top cut. That's first seed. So yeah, just an incredible tournament that we can kind of very quickly touch on. I don't actually know, Ben. I don't know if you've counted how many decks of each have we got in top 16.
He always does it live. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
One take.
I'll go through it now. Come on. There was 4 Absol box, 1 Zarabak EX, or N Zarabak, sorry, I should say. 2 Gardevoir Jellicent, 2 Golden Go.
Joe, you're counting it.
There's 3 Golden Go.
3 Golden Go. There's two Dragapult Desnoir, 1 Joltik box, and 2 Linear Gardevoir, and 1 Charizard.
Yeah.
There you go.
Bravo.
You've got that. You've all got that.
Take that to the bank.
Well, we'll make sure to link over labs.limitless.tcg.com later, so in case Ben gets anything wrong,
You're joking.
You can flame him later. Joe, biggest surprise into the top 16?
I mean, I suppose you have to say Joltik is the biggest surprise, to be fair. It has made a top 4 already in Bello, but getting a top 8 is still a big performance. His matchup seems pretty good.
Faced up against Mega Abs, one of those Mega Absol boxes in top 16.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mega Absol is pretty favoured. I know it lost on stream, but I don't think it was necessarily played perfectly by Truin at the time. But it was Robin just tried a cornerstone approach, which I think is when you can lose to that definitely as well. And obviously Ryuki is really good, and the Joltik box, as we know, it can just have very poor games if it doesn't have the good openers. So it's very losable, I think, as well. And against Ryuki's list that has the disruption cards as well, I feel like you can get clutch trapped because you just have your prime catcher and your 1 leaves, right? So that's definitely losable as well. But I think the deck's pretty good, honestly. I'm going to be probably championing it to be higher in the tier list than other people. And it beat a lot of Gardevoir, and a lot of people think it's not that strong, the Gardy matchup, but a lot of wins here against some really good players, like beating John Eng, beating Rafale, beating some really good players in this mix, you know?
Their phase 2 looked great. 4
I mean,
Jensen, 1 Terrabox, 1 Pidgeot control.
Yeah.
It's pretty tasty
and
for
the
Joltik.
Yeah, and even its bad matchups are 45%ers, just because Iron Hand sometimes just wins the game and pushes people off the board. So, yeah, I think it's underplayed, but possibly because it's such a simple deck and that it plays itself more often than not. But the list does have some good choices. I think the E-Switch is a really good choice. I think Hourglass, with the amount of Golden Go, is good for the tournament. Yeah.
Have you seen if we're looking at the list right now?
I am.
It does have Morwile.
It
does have your Goat Morwile.
It's the non-Clefairy version.
It is. Yeah.
Love that.
And yeah, it's the 4 of supporters and the 4 of the important stuff. So no wasted space on tools or anything else. So I think a really solid list.
Yeah, it's a no thrills list. Yeah, I mean, the majority of the Joltik decks that do well are usually very consistent in their approach. 4 ofs everywhere, and yeah, I respect the choice. The Mega Morwild as well, that's included. I do like that.
It played Morwild, but it didn't play any. So it played Clefairy-less, and it played only 1 Dragapult, and it wasn't a Dragadusk, it was a Dragazard anyway. So that's quite funny. So
probably didn't use it then.
Probably didn't use it at all.
Top 8, Ben.
But it was there.
Can you click on the pairings? And maybe just quickly go to round 16 if you click pairings or top 8.
Pairings in top 8.
You can look at the top 8 there. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh no! I can go on pairings. Hang on.
Top 8. Kind of
what we're looking for?
I feel like it's a nice easy way to see how.
Pairings. Yeah.
How the top 8 played out, top 16 played out.
I feel like this is quite an interesting way to look at it because then we can actually see the journey through, right?
Yeah.
So we had the stream match, which was similar to what you mentioned earlier, Joe, about it being a really quite a unique matchup in terms of how players are kind of going about a certain matchup in their favor. It was Tord versus Aban, with the Mega Absol versus Gardevoir Jellicent. The other match I see in top 8 that's really interesting for me is it's always kind of seeing basically Aban. Is it Aban 2.0 or is it Aban Henry 2.0? But the Gardevoir Jellicent against Nick Moffat's Golden Go EX deck as well is always another interesting matchup, which I feel like is one to also call out. But this is where Dragapult Dusknoir fell down. Ben, I'll kind of give this to you because why hasn't it? It won in Lille, and then since then it's kind of not really done too much.
Yeah, I don't think there's any particular. I don't think there's one particular reason. I mean, the introduction.
Liam's not playing the Psyduck either.
Yeah,
so it should in theory be a pretty balanced matchup.
But the introduction of Psyduck in the format is pretty daunting for it, I suppose. You will come up against it. You will see decks, with Psyduck littered here or there. I think Liam has a pretty positive matchup into Dragapult Dusknoir in any case. If it I'd say just a little bit favoured into it. Not as favoured as say Gardevoir, but I'd still champion the Zoroark over Dragapult Dusknoir as I would for most stage two decks. But I don't think there's any particular reason other than there's other decks in the format which have a better matchup spread. I think Dragapult Dusknoir was one of those decks where you had your favourable matchups in the room, but then you still had all of the other matchups being, around that 50-50 or were at least winnable in some way. But I think there are other decks that do it better. And the introduction of Psyduck here or there, as I said, is pretty keeps it in check, I suppose, of possibly making those big records.
Well, I guess with Liam's list as well, because he's obviously moved on to the Manitan list as well. It's another way of kind of overcoming some of those tricky stage 2s, especially when you don't have shamans hanging around anywhere. So yeah, that's probably another reason why he kind of progressed against the Dragapult Dusknoir, and then Ryuki beat our Joltik box Hawkenberg in the top 8 as well. Yeah, top 4. We had the mirror match on stream, which
I mean we'd already seen Liam absolutely decimate a Guardian like earlier in the day, so I think it makes sense why they kept kept the mirror.
I think this mirror is quite interesting to show as well. I don't think it's a matchup that mirrors can have the reputation of being quite boring, but at least a Mega Absol mirror is not something that you see every day. So I would rather see that than Liam completely destroying another Gardevoir, as he's probably has done the entire tournament.
That top 4 match between them, there was a moment I think very early on where it was just like a stalemate, because obviously Tord wasn't drawing very well, and Ryuki had things going, but they just both couldn't smack into each other's Mega Absol.
No.
Yes.
So it was like they were just staring at each other, and then Ryuki was just like, I just have to try and see what happens. Or take out the active and see what happens, and Tord eventually was able to get the first hit in. But it definitely was a very interesting moment where both players just had to pause and kind of reset up the board a little bit further, or just kind of give up the active, or consider giving up an active.
I also think Dex aside, this is definitely the feature match out of the two, only because of the two names that you have there.
I mean, the whole top 4 is nuts.
Both international champions.
Come on.
But yeah, no. I mean, Henry and Liam have their own.
Henry's a Spilly of the Year contender.
They have their own CV. But I mean, I think they'd accept the fact that Tord and Ryuki is a pretty mouth-watering matchup for a viewer.
Just because it's a 50-50. Right.
Yeah.
As
well as that. The decks are obviously a big influence in that, but the names as well. The names as well also play a part.
Well, there's probably not much else to talk about the top 4s, but it did mean that we had a final of Tord versus Liam. We've already highlighted. It's something to go watch back for sure, just to just to understand the whole concept of the game of Tord going one particular direction and why he built his deck his way for this tournament, and Liam having to find those small percentages to even scratch his way in back into the game with Enzorua, but then of course at the same time it only takes it to a game 3, and that's when you get that kind of FIFA pose of suddenly your mate has scored against you, and it's that meme where the guy sits up in his chair, Tord moment, leans forward.
Yeah.
doesn't laugh, or shuffles in silence from now on.
Have you ever?
I mean, before that, he was like flinging cards out, like chill, and like laughing and shrugging, and then he was like, "Hang on, this is losable. Hang on, there's a Worlds invite on the line here."
Yeah. Have you ever
I may not get it otherwise.
Have you ever leant forward playing live?
Leant forward playing live. Imagine.
I mean, Ben was a few hours before we started.
Interesting you mentioned that because
Where's my risky ruins?
whoever won this final, basically it takes away an invite, a direct invitation away from NA. With Liam already having earned one earlier on in the season, and Tord taking it away for the European region, as it were.
That's true.
Anything else interesting that you caught in the game, Joe? Because I know you were up watching it. Me and Ben probably still have a bit of time to try and catch up on it, unless Ben told me he's watching it whilst working.
I mean, it was all about what Liam was doing, really, because Tord was presenting the board and essentially attaching an energy return and announcing attacks. And sure, he weaved a pass here or there just to not leave key damage for Monkey Dory math or whatever. But it was more about Liam retreating correctly around the guys to mitigate the hits he was taking or bait Tord into hitting certain things. And yeah, the timing of getting this Blood Moon Power Glass thing into the mix was really cool. As his only acceleration, but Tord's deck kind of played itself. Game 1, he literally led a cornerstone, so he's always going to start and go that direction. Game 2, it took him a little longer to actually get swinging, which I think bought the time for the Blood Moon to become a relevant factor. But still, Liam had to play to his outs of if Tord just has boss here, he wins for a couple of turns. So it's whatever, you know.
I think it was definitely two very different tales. It wasn't your typical try and take your prizes as soon as possible matchup. It was.
And I mean, I'm surprised that Zoro has just cut the Okie Dokie as well. I feel like that was a good tech. It's also good into other fringe matchups, although it is still predominantly a cornerstone answer. Maybe it again just harks back to what Tor was saying, was people don't want to play these cards that are on the fringes, and I suppose not playing the Okie Dokie in this list makes more sense because you're not playing the Cyrano anyway. So it would be way worse in this list.
You're having to fit in Darmanitan, right? And
yeah. I mean, Piper did
but...
as well. I mean, it's not in that matchup, but yeah, Piper played
was it a 1-1? Was it 2-1? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the engine, Liam's engine is very different from the Piper engine because it's full lilies, right? Not Cyranos.
All right. Well. That probably concludes the whole tournament. Unless Ben, you've got any final things to say?
No, I think it was a good final. Like I said, they were both playing very different matchups. I really loved Tord's list, only because Mega Kangaskhan Absol has a fantastic plan into most matchups, but it just still having that Cornerstone Ogerpon coming back in. It also means that you just have your complete auto wins just based on the ability alone. And I think
it's a big risk though. He would have been in a lot of situations being worried about
sorry, I'm thinking outside that final, but in that final,
that's what I mean.
At least in that final, Liam
he had the full confidence.
Posed a lot of questions to Tord. Yeah. The tower in connection with the Ursluna was just, I mean, he was playing to his outs, and that's what champions do, you know. And he had to try and see that through at least. But
yeah, I mean, he even prized the Watchtower one game.
He had to effectively manage damage on his board state effectively, and I think
that was it really. Yeah.
I think that's it's made extremely difficult when Tord has 4 boss and 2 counter catcher. I think it's extremely difficult.
I mean, yeah, Tord just changed to go to 4 boss, so he's happy with his changes. The one thing that maybe my brain's just too small, but one E-switch always, I always feel like whenever E-switch is there, it feels like such a good card on every turn of the game. I'm always just can I please make a space for this card, because it still feels busted every time I watch it on stream. Literally every turn I watch it on stream, it's oh, the penny's awkward here, but what if I could have E-switched? Or
do you think it's too? Do you think you're thinking about? Do you think maybe you're considering E-switch as a more of an aggressive option, whereas it should be?
I just feel like there's so many doors shut.
It should be conserved a little bit more for when it's, a little bit of a clutch play, rather than I can attack turn 2 here.
But
when you play 2, you can like weave in a monkey that can like help you later, whilst also throwing one to a Petch, or like you can attack with the Evoltol into like Mew EXs and stuff, and that like doesn't hurt you later on because you can still have enough energy floated elsewhere. Like, I don't know, it just feels like it makes a lot of things available, and it makes Penny better because you just have more opportunities to use her.
Sure.
Well,
yeah, I get that.
I mean, it's like one of those things where I do think space is. We kind of say that there's a lot of space in this kind of deck, but when you're having to kind of go heavier Ogerpon and the fighting energies, or with Ryuki adding, I think he had maybe in his Brisbane list, it might have been Airy and Zerose or something like that, right? Having to try and fit in 2 energy switch. It's definitely a card that I've often played with 2 in the list. But I'm then cutting corners somewhere else, right?
Yeah, I would probably cut a Lily here, which then can look queasy for some people, you know.
I was about to say maybe it's just there's nothing cuttable in the deck for.
Or you've seen people cut like to 1 Kangaskhan for some ungodly reason, but
I don't know.
I'm surprised that Tor didn't play Tatsu. I'm surprised Tor didn't go back to Tatsu though. I feel like it was a smart include initially, but I guess he's also lighter on the gears anyway. So maybe it's just.
I feel like Tatsu was always my first cut, but yeah, but I always get it, of course. It's just a good card.
It's just that I guess it's because he's back to Cornerstone strat. Yeah, I'm trying to think it out anyway into Dengo. That's where it's like best, right? When you're not allowed to Kangaskhan.
Hear more on Joe's thoughts in his video later. But yeah, we probably should move on. Congrats to Tord on winning the largest regional.
Another one.
This side, another one. Just DJ Khaled playing. That's another clip that you got to chuck in.
Is the GOAT debate over, boys? That's my question.
Is the GOAT debate over? Well, yeah, head over to Joe's Twitter to comment and argue and fight people for it. But we will and should go to our main topic for today. We've already gone on long enough, I think, for Vegas, but there was a lot to talk about. We want to do a tier list for the final tournament of this Mega Evolutions format. Because LAIC is coming up. It's going to be the first international of the season this coming weekend, whenever this comes out, or maybe it's last weekend and it's already gone. We never know with Ben. But we'll give our thoughts and try and do this quickly as well. I'm going to try and time stop us like 15 minutes or so, because I don't think there's a lot to talk about that we haven't already covered. We probably should start with Mega Absol box because it did just win the biggest tournament. Let's just chuck that one up there first. Ben, we'll go to you because Joe's talked enough about it. We've kind of already given our ideas about what we think, but Ben, do you want to try and lock something in, please?
Yeah, I think it's a solid A tier. I think it's high A. I think it just goes to its high conversion rate on a consistent basis goes to show that it is a strong contender in this format. I don't think it's I don't know. I think it's going to come into a debate now where
10 minutes is gone.
Do you consider it now such a big threat in the tournament that you just start attacking for it as everybody did after the first initial spike in popularity that it had, and then all of a sudden it's a unpopular or unattractive choice for your next tournament, or do you stick with it, just copy over towards deck? Copy the meta file or whatever and just keep going with it. I'm unsure, but I still think it has such good matchups across the room that it does stick itself in A tier. But whether it's going to... I'm talking to two arguments here, whether it'll succeed and how good the deck is. But
I was going to say, it sounds like you're on the fence. I would have put it like mid A. It's not too far off what you said anyway. It is still a very good deck. People will just have to tech against the cornerstone if that's a thing, and then still just rely on the rest of your deck being okay into the normal Mega Absol Kangaskhan package. Our Mega Kang or our Mega Absol players will then adapt. It'll be it'll be. My God, I've lost my words. It'll be interesting to see how they will adapt based on this information because
I think it's still A tier based on its strong matchups, regardless of whether anybody's taking for it, but it's not that S tier yet because it is just easily counterable with an inclusion of something to beat.
I think Joe's going to say it never will be. But Joe, very quickly, any thoughts on that?
I would push back on it being high A, just because Ryuki and Tord both faced 5 Dengos, and they were able to beat them or tie to them because they played Cornerstone and it worked. And I don't think that's going to happen at LAIC. So I would put this more towards a B tier play, because I think Golden Go will once again think Golden Go will be the most popular deck in the room.
Okay, we'll put it.
And I think it's genuine copium when Cornerstone doesn't work.
Put it low A then.
Low A is fine. I just wouldn't put it towards the top end.
Moving on. Let's chuck another deck up. Let's go Terrorbox, if that's even on there.
Yeah.
Terrorbox is there, yeah.
Is there? Joe, kick us off. One-liner if you need to.
One-liner. It doesn't really have many terrible matchups. It takes most things close. It's quite a high-effort deck. Like, Rav's just looking at the data now. Its worst matchup is Jolted Box, which you absolutely take. Yeah, but it's only like 45s, right? It's not crazy terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't have a specific. It doesn't have like strong enough matchups in the room for me to have taken it. It doesn't have like your 60% anyway.
Well, I think it's best into Grim, Zard, Zorro, Absol. Like the Uprising of Dark. The Uprising of Dark is good for Terrorbox. I think high B is fine though, because I think it takes the stage 2s close most of the time, but can easily lose those games, especially into Guardi.
Yeah, okay, quite like that. Ben, do you have anything to say on that
one?
Or will you have to leave it there?
Share those sentiments.
Pick a next deck, Ben. Go.
Golden Go Lunatone.
We're gonna have to stick this high, right?
Yeah, I'd stick it high.
Well, I guess the question is, are we saying it's going to be the most put in this tier list because it's going to be the most played, or is actually like arguably the best play for the tournament?
I want to do it as play for the event.
Play for the event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be up there, right? It can kind of generally handle a lot of the meta, and if it does have the answers for the deck, which it struggled into because decks were teching and things like Ogerpon, it's a very good play. You do have to be one of the many. You do have to be one of the many players that make it into the phase 2 and then push beyond, though. Right? You have to just hope you're in that contingent at that stage.
Its stats
I think it's the best
so promising.
deck in the game.
Yeah,
I think it's the best deck.
Its stats are so promising.
BDIF is what Joe's just called it.
I do, yeah.
The fact that it had a 24% conversion while being the most played deck in the room is nothing to be ignored.
Over a number of tournaments now as well. It's the same in Dance.
Yeah, it's nothing to be ignored. And if you are scared of those Mega Upsell boxes, then you just tag for it, and it's pretty simple to do. You know that's already been established. It's not like Mega Upsell.
Question for you both.
Go on.
Which tech?
What do you mean? Oh, you play more WoW. Right? I play more WoW over. I play more WoW for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So,
S tier? Sling it in.
I can stick it in S, yeah, go on.
If we want to have are we going to have one S tier deck or multiple?
It's up to you. We could have multiple. We can stretch out the tier list at the very end if we really need to. If we're too high, upper tiery. Ceruledge. Let's go something quote unquote low.
I'd say low B, if not C. I still think
you beat Golden Go.
You do.
I mean,
you beat Zoroark.
The only reason
the biggest deck.
The only reason you would play Ceruledge over Golden Go for an aggressive archetype is purely because Ceruledge is easier to play. It's very linear. It knows what it's doing every single matchup. You're not changing your strategy. You're getting energy in the bin and you're hitting quite hard. And that's regardless of whatever matchup you have. So it's the plug-and-play deck. I've said that a number of times. And that's why people are generally attracted to it as an archetype. I can't fault it. It's a respectable choice. But it just doesn't do as well as Golden Go. Next.
I will say if you had towards matchups in the last tournament, I think you do all right, to be honest. There's a lot of Golden Goes. There's a Mega Venusaur Tord had to beat. You know, there's a lot of good things going for it. But,
that brings us to Mega Venusaur D.
Are we actually happy with it in B, by the way, Ceruledge? Is that for the tournament?
BC, sure.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll
low
leave it
B.
there for now. Mega
the only
Venusaur
only thing I would say for Sarah Ledge is that I would play Carmineless. I would just play researches and good
Oh, that's interesting.
Carmine's the thing that's killing these players, I think.
Mm.
5 cards is not enough cards.
You're going into every matchup.
Choose to go second.
If I don't hit Carmine,
mind-boggling.
If I don't hit Carmine, I've lost.
Well, more often you play the Carmine and then you lose because 5 cards is terrible. Draw 7,
right,
everyone.
I don't think we need to explain Venusaur, so we'll leave that.
No.
There.
Yeah, we'll leave it.
Charizard Pidgeot. It got a little hype going into Las Vegas by people like Azul, for example. It's a good deck. Got dark. It's got it's got dark hitting the Guardies quite nicely, especially the way it's kind of built nowadays. Has a good / okay matchup in the Golden Go if you playing the usual Chi-Yu packages and can get going. What's not to like?
Yeah, my opinion on Charizard hasn't really changed. I still think it's a good pick in its own right. You do have to dodge some bad matchups, but otherwise, I again think it's another respectable choice. But
is Joe on a love or hate train for Charizard right now? That's what I want to know.
So I know I personally hate the 60 cards that you have to play to make this a playable deck. Like you have to play some atrocious cards in the deck, and you have to play 3 stage 2s and a bunch of basic techs. So it looks like absolute vomit when you look at the list, but its matchups are actually okay. Like I don't mind it in high B or low A. You
have to shove so much in it to make it work, and you often see the Charizards that are doing well playing like 21 ofs because they're trying to make everything manageable. And of course, you do have the argument.
Mezzagoza, like my god.
You do have the you have the argument that you have quick search. So what's the problem? But
when you don't, you're just
those initial turns.
Rubbish.
Yeah, those initial turns are.
You see,
scary.
I've seen. I was trying to record a Zard video just for Phantasmal format, and some of the hands are just like. Is this real?
I think the players that are playing Charizard are not necessarily picking it for it being the best pick. They're picking it.
I think they 100% are. I think it's a horrendous mash of cards that you're playing because you think your matchups are good, and you think it's a comfort. Dragadusk is in a bad state, so you think you can dodge them.
There's probably some of that, but I think it's more of a comfort play for some players.
I do not. The list is not comfortable at all. The list is horrific.
Believe me, it has.
What do you mean? Believe you? No, look at the list. Nothing says comfortable about that list.
I mean, the only comforting one is I guess is Grant Manley's one, right? Is the non-Dustmore version.
Yeah,
where you were a little bit more.
This is the Bing Chilling retro list, right?
Yeah,
I say comfort play,
which is like
people.
You're not playing Mezzagoza and hoping for a flip.
Thank God.
I say comfort play.
I wouldn't play Mezzagoza either, but it is what it is.
It's more that players are playing Charizard because it's Charizard, not for any other reason.
I don't know what you mean. I think that's complete nonsense.
Like they're playing it because they're enjoying it.
It's taken us an hour and 10 minutes for our first fight between these two. All right, here we go.
Carry on.
I'm playing it because I enjoy it. But like you look at the Zard, Pidgeot, Dusknoir, Klefki, like all the.
It doesn't matter if you're enjoying it. If you're enjoying it, doesn't matter.
I think.
Right, moving on. We're keeping it
the least enjoyable deck to play in the game.
Are you enjoying this?
That's harsh.
I'd rather play Sarah Ledge.
We're sorry, all Finnish players, for listening to this pod, and Joe's left on your deck.
I'm saying it's effective. I'm just saying it looks like
it's super effective,
dribble.
but
Right.
Anyway, Enzorowak, boy.
Wait, hold on, Dal. You have to. If we're arguing, you have to sort this mess out. You happy with it?
I said upper B. I like the deck. I do like Charizard. Fine. I would happily take it to a tournament again. Probably not over other decks I've enjoyed a bit more recently. In comparison, but I've played it to a tournament this season already. Enzorowak, poor conversion. We've already highlighted that. Second place in the hands of very good players. It's a very good deck. Mid B.
Yeah, I'd say mid B. Definitely.
I would.
I feel like it's a very fair deck. Maybe.
I would have it high A.
For what
high
reason?
A?
Yeah, I'd have it above Absol for sure.
For what reason?
I think it's got more. I think it has more play than Absol into Dengo, and it still boasts the good stage 2 matchups. It's like a less volatile. I feel like it's a less volatile Mega Absol deck.
I like how then Ben's decided to just.
He's
after you
power
said
played me.
above
He's
Mega
power
Absol,
played. He's
he's
power
put it
played
below
me.
it.
No, I don't.
No,
really
but he
know.
disagrees, so that's fine.
No, I do disagree. It's just had a terrible showing. What's changed?
It's just got second, mate. The best players can do really well with it.
Yeah, but that's 1 out of 9, and that's 9 out of 115.
It's got like the third most top cuts of any deck in the format.
Okay, well, if it's the idea that we're picking it low A because one person's going to make it out of 200.
Well, I think that Absol will probably make more day 2s, but I think Zora has a way higher chance of making cut.
Okay.
All right. I mean, I don't mind it in A at all. I think we kind of explained how in the.
I mean, I'm not putting it in the same tier as Ceruledge. Can we just say that?
Yeah. I mean, that's a very good point. I mean,
thank you.
I did try and ask you guys whether Ceruledge should even be in B, but look, you guys left it as is. Right, let's move on. Let's get rid of Crossel. I say get rid of.
Yeah, D.
I don't think it had a terrible. It had a good conversion rate if I saw it again.
Yeah,
there's too many headaches. Too many problems. Too many problems for it. There's too many non-EX attackers.
35% conversion, boys.
Whoa,
8 out of 23.
Whoa.
And then
you hit phase 2, you hit your first Guardy, then your second, and then you're done. See you later.
Yeah.
And you're not even getting petty packs. You're like me at the bottom.
It's the definition of matchup roulette. And the roulette is not in your favour.
Crossel, so we're talking Crossel, Farigiraf Crossel, Zoroark Crossel. It's still like 33%.
Anyway. Just play Fernando Cifuentes' Mega Absol with the Crossel in there. That's the solution.
Right. Well, there you go. The deck of Gdansk, I guess, the most talked and most sort of watched deck, it felt like, of Gdansk. Flareon? Anyone?
Well, we know after the money match that it's Toilet into Guardi and Dragger Dusk, so I'm going to put this in the bin.
Yeah, I'd put it low.
I think it's worse than Terrabox. I'd put it in C.
So I've never liked it more than Terrabox.
Yeah.
I guess Emma's version with the Pidgeot would kind of intrigued me just because Pidgeot's kind of cool, but you can kind of do the same with other decks as well, right?
I've never really been a fan of it.
I mean, she openly said it's bad into Dragger Dusk, and then she lost on street. Like, admittedly, yeah, it's against Henry, but like, if you want to see how to beat Flareon as Guardi, watch that. It's a 4-row domination, you know. And in some games, Emma drew so well and still lost, you know. Like
the first game, I think she went 4 prizes up. He got a routes down, just single routes. It survived the turn, and then it all turned.
It's game over. Yeah,
over from there. Yeah, interesting matchup. All right, Flareon, Ben. I mean, you just don't like it. That was all.
No, I've never really been a fan of it. I think no.
All right,
enough said.
That's it. That'll do. C above Ceruledge.
It's above Ceruledge. Yeah, definitely.
Did you just chuck Pidgeot controller without discussing it?
Oh no,
without
sorry.
a word.
Sorry. There you go.
I mean,
anyway, where are you going to put Pidgeot control? Probably about low C, I reckon.
Okay.
Go on. There you go. Right.
God, there are listeners around. People won't have known your little antics there. Yeah. We have to say these things.
I've caught you doing something of your own accord there. That's naughty, right? Let's go Gardevoir. Gardevoir monkey, so no Jellicent.
Yeah.
Is that a B? Is it dropped to a B now?
No, surely not.
I would say bottom of A.
Bottom of
A.
You
put it below Zoroark.
Yep. I'd put Jelly above it.
Joe put Zoroark above Absol. So yes, if your order is already wrong for him. So Jelly Jelly and
I would put Jelly
together
above Mega Absol.
Yeah.
I think that's the deck that beats the top 3.
What, Gardevoir Jellicent?
Guardi Jelly it beats the top 3 in play rate is what I should be saying, which I think will be straight Guardi, Golden Go, and Dragger Dusk. I think they will be the 3 most played decks.
Back to the top, what has been kind of the existing top 3.
The day 1 meta, yeah.
Okay.
The establishment.
I think pretty fair. We've kind of already discussed both merits of both decks, right? You've got Gardevoir being able to one-hit KO and use things like Drifloon packages and so on, and then you've got the Jellicent builds that allow you to kind of control the item heavy like management of things like Golden Go a little bit better, and then into mirror matches. So that kind of crux that you find yourself there. But it wouldn't surprise me if either of these decks make it into Top Cut, for example, right?
Yeah. I mean, Gardevoir still is flexible as it once was. It's still the same deck, right? It's still good old Gardevoir. I don't think necessarily.
Remind me, Ben, did you play the Jelly build or the straight build for a 1/1/1 finish?
For a 1/1/1 top 4 challenge, I played Jellicent.
Yeah. You played Jellicent?
And I hated it.
Top 4.
Top 4.
Right. The only deck I can consider as Mike Ellis's is Grimmsnarl, Frostlass, or Arthur Trusler's top 4, sorry, I should say. In Gdansk. I think it's still a pretty good deck, right? And if it's had its problems going into the World Championships, which was like, oh, Golden Go's scary, so I don't really want to face up against it. But then it kind of semi-rebuilt a way of like weaving in the Devos a bit more Bella, and with Yveltal having that clutch as well. It's again another one of those like what feels like a fairish deck, fair in kind of the matchups, not fair in how it plays. But because I think sometimes it's a bit, it can be a bit salt-inducing for your opponents as a deck to face up against. But yeah, I'd put this in B. I think it's pretty fair.
Would you put it above Zard? I think that's my debate, whether it's above or below Zard. I think they're right in that mix, to be fair.
Yeah.
Bizarrely, they did the same thing, just different colors of energy. But I think
I probably would put it above Zard, actually.
I think I would do the same. Yeah.
I'd put it above Zard. Yeah.
All right. Go on, Ben. Alakazam, hit me.
Alakazam. Well, I don't think much is to be said about Alakazam. I think it already.
Do I need to ask you?
I'm joking.
You know what it does?
I mean, it's yes. I think it's high D personally. Welcome to any opposition to that. Yeah, it's another rogue one prize. Sorry, my cat's on my desk and she's trying to bite me. It's another rogue one prize deck that has a little bit of a gimmick, and the more cards you have in hand, the more damage you do. Yes, but a couple of INOs here or there and you start to lose your prize race. It starts to become a little bit unraveled. I don't think it's as strong as the previous one prizes we've had in the format, like say Ancient Box or even Ethan's Typhlosion. I think is more attractive than Alakazam, I would have thought, or if not just as. I just think Alakazam's the flavour of the week, really, in terms of one prizes. I don't think it threatens a lot of the top players in the format that can do shenanigans like take multiple prizes per turn with either Monkey Dory or
it's rubbish.
Most of the time Monkey Dory or Terrabox or Dusknoir.
Why are we talking so? Yes, we know it's rubbish.
The thing is about
carry
Alakazam,
on.
The thing is, if you come up,
I once knew Alakazam's father, and my God, just say it's bad and move on. Absolute meme.
It may get better for the next format, but I think that's enough.
The new dawn is coming. Come on.
The new dawn is coming.
Come on, give me that.
Oh, he's got a new video title already. This is shocking.
Watch this spoon, yeah.
Yeah. Serial killer.
Joe, we both played this deck to a tournament. Baltic Box. We just spoke about it being in top 8 of this last tournament. You said it should be more people should be playing it. Should more people be playing it for this tournament?
I mean, I would put it probably. I mean, if it's me, I'd put it above Zard, to be honest. I mean, it's like slightly negative into Dengo and slightly negative into Guardi. But I think you feast on all the Guardi counters because you have green stuff, and they hate that. And you keep things honest, and you're pretty consistent at what you do. So, yeah, I think it's a good in the B mix. It's just a really annoying, like, it's not fun to play. You're not going to enjoy your time if you play it, like, to be honest. You'll enjoy getting some wins, but there's nothing fun about playing Joltik Box. It's just like go through the motions, yawn, and you get some good lunch breaks.
I didn't get many lunch breaks.
Oh, you're joking. You tied about 8 times.
Yeah.
I don't know how you tied so much with
that. It's not just me who plays the game. There's 2 people that it takes to tango per game.
To be fair, I was ready to rinse down about it, but then I faced a Guardi and had 15 minutes left to play game 3, and I barely didn't even get close. So
they take their turn. You've got 8 minutes left, and it's over.
Yeah.
B's pretty fair. I think I think it's a little bit underplayed. I think it's a bit harsh. I think there's a little bit more to enjoy to play it, especially if you're playing things like the Morwell, and it kind of makes it a bit cuter, or Power Glass and those different little things. It's cute.
Well done. You played a Morwell. God.
Look, and it was justified with that top 8 finish by whoever that guy was in top 8 at this last tournament.
Incredible. You've already forgotten.
Look, I can flick it up and find it if I wanted to. I just chosen not to.
And that's even worse. That's lazy.
Right.
He's earned that, right?
Tell me his name. Go on. I remember his name. I remember his surname. I can't remember his
You're the one slagging him off. Well, now I'm gonna have to go and click, aren't I?
Yeah.
Right, I guess if I'm
Hawkins,
glass houses,
I'll never forget now because it'll be the same as me thinking about Adam Hawkins. Okay.
Watching you like a Hawken.
There you go, Hawkenberg. Raging
Bull.
But
carry on.
The winner of the round of your favorite interview of both of yours, I should say. This can't go high. I don't. No, this is for me Sarah Ledge tier.
Put it low B.
Yeah, stick it in Sarah Ledge.
Why is it in B? Why is it even? In the same conversation as the others?
That's all.
It beats online. It beats Absol and Zoroark.
All right, good point.
Say less.
Come on.
Say no more. Yeah, right. We're coming to the final deck, guys, and we haven't even spoken about Dragon Ball. We got Ben to speak about it a little bit earlier. Ben said that it wasn't like it didn't really have the 50-50s that it kind of has, but because of its power, but with things like Dust War and you're kind of slow building into your Dragon Balls, I thought it always did, right? And then now people are playing the more kind of, is it going back to the circle of the kind of rare candy builds and so on? But Dragon Ball Dust War for me is still a good deck, right? Doesn't it have an okay time in the Golden Go?
No.
No?
No.
Well, the online data says 40%. And I tend to agree the matchup is pretty rough.
You do have your good matchups, but the real rough matchups are the ones that you do not want to be.
That's my concern. The bad matchups are the top matchups, and the good matchups are the lower percent players.
Yeah, a bad Enzoroark, a bad Terrabox, a bad Joltik, bad Grimstyle, bad Dengo, bad.
This is all going off online, right? And we know that this deck can be more combo focused than cube, right? So, I agree that the Guardi's not great. Like, we have seen some of the better Dragodusks worm their way out of a lot of situations, and I do think it brings most decks close, and by the nature of the deck, right? You're almost always putting someone at least into an Iono position to lose the game. I wouldn't put it as low as B. Jesus, I'd put it bottom of A.
Really? You'd still put it in A?
I mean, it's pretty rough into the Guardi stuff, but it's
if we think back. So for me, this is, I know we're kind of spending a little bit of time doing this since we're kind of eating into our pod now, but Dragon Ball, if you take away the kind of most played decks that you don't really want to face, the Golden Goes and the Guardis, which got in both about 30%, right? I think it's probably what you can kind of average. We've spoken about percentages here, but Grim isn't awful. It's bad. I think it's like 45% if you lose online data just then, 44. And what else was it that was bad, Ben? Sorry, you said.
Zoro's slightly weak.
Terrabox, Joltik Box.
Zoro has played a good amount of Psyduck. Obviously, people are going to go onto Liam's list now instead.
Zoro, Mega Absol. And that's the thing for me. Like, you can't just be griefed by phase 1 especially, you can't just be griefed by random Psyducks in lists.
If you do just think about the wider tournament, if you can still handle 65-70% of the field, for example, like it's not an awful.
Walk away with points a lot of those weaker matchups as well, just by the virtue of the deck. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those. I guess that's why it kind of.
Would you have it lower than A now?
Yeah, it probably is upper B.
Okay.
I wouldn't have it lower than any of the other decks in B, but just because of the sheer power of it.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I agree that it's like a lot of people would consider it the second best deck in the game, and we're already saying it's like placement is bad, or maybe the third best deck in the game, right? Most people would say like Dengo Guardi, Polarize, the big three right
I guess
now.
it's one of those things you can't really like tech too many things into it, to make it like something like far better.
We know the 60 for the deck now, right?
I just think
that's basically not changing.
I just think that out of those three, the hard counters for those top three, or the most damaging counters for those top three. Yes, you have Cornerstone for Goldingo, but side deck for Dragon Ball, it's
but what's playing Duck, bro? Like Absol plays Duck, some Zoro play Duck, and Zard plays Duck because the matchup is horrific otherwise.
Yeah, that's conventional, but you know you can go up against random side deck in your.
I don't think it's as. Nah, I really don't think so. No. Especially because other decks have done better this weekend, right? I don't think like this is the weekend for the random Duck. You know?
No, probably not. Same as like, I mean, there's always the arguments between Duck and like Shade.
I suppose.
Anyway, but
I suppose you capitalize on, you know, the fact that Dragon Ball won't.
You've had a quiet week, right?
Yeah. You haven't had a good tournament. Therefore, Duck comes out. It's the first cut in the majority of lists. Are
like I feel like Zards and Absols will still play it. But that's it.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Like it wouldn't surprise me if we go into LAIC. It's similar to the same thinking that we had for Lil and Gdansk, right? Where most people don't change. They tend to stick with what they've got. I mean, maybe someone like Tord might consider it, but he probably ends up just kind of tweaking his list to feeling what the meta is going into, right? Although he did flip flop between Guardi at one point. But then at that point, you know, then it's only like tech cards that people are going to be changing. But you're still probably going into a similar size tournament. You know, I mean, probably not even going up to this 2,900. But you're probably going in, I don't know how big LAICs have gotten now, but you're still having to play such a wide field. And I think any of the plays, probably from B upwards, is probably fine. You're just going to have the right run of decks and matchups in phase 1, and then hopefully phase 2 falls in your favor.
Yeah, our B and up is 10 decks, right? So that's a pretty defined top 10, I think. Maybe Serral is like the play rate deck of the ones below it, of like the one that will probably see a meaningful amount of play, like 5% plus probably. But otherwise, that's a pretty defined top 10, and I think like there's reason to play all of them, but reasons to fear some of those B tiers a little bit more, I would say.
Yeah, agreed.
Right, I actually do feel like we've spoken quite a lot. I did say we initially wanted an hour. We've probably hit an hour and 28-ish minutes now. Any final thoughts? Both of you pick a deck that will win LAIC.
To win,
I'll go Jelly Guardi.
I'll go Linear Guardi.
I would have gone Jelly Guardi, but if I really want to mix it up, I'll go something like Terror Box.
Yo, that's hype! Can't wait.
Yeah. All right. What's everyone's plans for the LAIC weekend? We're just chilling, watching it at home in our pants. Football's back.
Oh yeah,
it's always big.
Football is back.
Football and LAIC weekends. Let's go.
Yeah. I've got a family meal on Sunday, and then I'm packing for Thanksgiving.
Nice. When are you off?
I've got to learn the national anthem.
When are you off?
Can you recite it on the next pod?
No.
When are you leaving?
No. Next Tuesday.
Nice. Very good.
Yep. Should be fun.
Anything else?
Do some Christmas shopping.
Oh, sorry.
No, nothing for myself. Harriet's birthday on Saturday, so that'll be fun.
So hold on, nothing. Are you doing nothing for her birthday?
Oh no, we are doing something. Sorry, I'm talking Pokemon related.
Yeah, nothing. I'm just not. Like, it's Harriet's birthday, but I'm doing nothing. She'll.
Hoping to go.
They're having a girls' night now, and
hoping to go to a cup on Sunday.
Spa type day.
What?
A spa type
Talk
day.
to us about what you're doing with your wife.
You're still not doing anything.
Partner.
Oh right, yeah. We're just gonna go out for a meal. Very chill.
Thanks.
Next.
You do spoiler.
Oh, don't say that. You should see my wallet. It's completely decimated.
It's decimated.
What did you buy her? Come on, reveal it.
Marowak. You bought her some Cubones and some Marowak.
I'm not revealing
You
it.
bought some Marowak, did you? Is that why you were testing
I'm not revealing it.
Some risky ruins. You're not revealing it.
She listens to this pod.
She does not listen to this.
Sometimes
she's not made it this far.
Sometimes she puts it in the car for Nelly.
No,
I'm not joking.
It's Papa.
Is it a 100-pack of condoms?
On that note,